Now this is the pattern I'm going to be tying. This is just basically better known now as a half-hog style anyway. It's taken from, there's a fly called the hedgehog, another one they reckon the sedgehog, but basically the dressing will be full length of the body, whereas this is only halfway, so hence the name half-hog. Now this is one of the flies I tie for mainly the lochs, and it's a great pattern. This one too is for the lochs, but originally it was tied for the rivers. It's just an olive, it would represent the olive coming off. Take away the legs. Normally in the river I wouldn't put the legs on, but in the lochs worth putting a couple of legs on. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to tie it. Hook, basically you could use a curved hook, a grub shaped hook, which is ideal for this type of fly as well. But what I'm going to be using is the short shank special. This is full and mill. This is a size 10, though it's, if you look at the shank, is equivalent to a size 12, but the gape is equivalent to a size 10. So it's basically, it's got the extended bend, so it gives it that grub-like shape. So it's a very versatile hook to use. Now, because I'm tying like I want a nice smooth body, I use the UTC in 70 in this case, in black. Now I'm going to start in line with the point of the hook, and then I'm going to come round the bend, remove the waist to this point here. Now I've got it. Peacock, this was a peacock eye, but it still is, it's just it's got no fibre on it. I've used the bleach. What I'll try and remember and do is put a link to how I actually remove the fine hair or the fine Herl below the video. Now once you've done that, you can work away quite easy. Now you may see there's some fine Herl still on there. Now I stop it early, because the longer you have it in the bleach, the more likely it will break up. It will cause the quill to get very brittle, so I'd rather stop it early, because if you look here, it's very easy to remove what's left. Just using your nail. And you've got still a nice strong fibre. Even though I still, what I do is soak it in after doing the bleach. I give it a good wash. And then I use a hair conditioner to soften it. So what we do is we catch this at the back. Just work my way up. And then we're going to rib the body with the quill. Now this first turn, now remember, see when you're ribbing this, you're not ribbing it to protect it, you're ribbing it to get basically a body, a nice segmented body with the quill. So we're just winding this up, keeping it tight enough that it's not going to slip, but enough to give it so you get that nice marking. So what we do then, we trim that away, so we can still see the black thread between each turn. Try to basically tie off your thread, and then what you're going to do, I mean, you can either cup 2 or 3 coats of varnish, or you can use a resin. Now I'm going to quickly use the resin. So I've got some nice fine resin here on my desk. Just going to apply it all the way around. Now I don't like it too heavy. So I'm going to take away some of this. I'm just going to make sure it's all the way around. And one of the most important things is making sure there's some in the hook. Because that's where, if there's anywhere the water's going to get in behind the resin, it's at the back here, it'll seep in behind. And once it does that, it then lifts the resin from the hook and goes white. So, and you don't want that. So then what we're going to do is just set the resin. The one I'm using is the light version from Bug Bond. Just make sure the resin is set. And then it's important is to give it a lick of varnish. This is just clear Vinegar varnish I use. It's easy to apply with the brush. Now obviously I can't use that, so I have one already sitting on my desk, so just allow that, sit that down. I usually sit down and do a dozen or so bodies, and then I just basically put on a wee bit of foam and allow it to dry. So you see I've got one lying on my desk here. Put it on device. Nice and tight. Now I change the thread. I go to my normal thread, my uni thread, and 8 on black. I prefer the uni for tying materials in. It's the flat thread, unless you spin the bobbin to tighten it up, it doesn't grip as well as a round thread like the uni. So I base the thread down, take my thread to make sure we're in line with the point of the hook, and then I'm going to use this is roe deer. It's got a good marking on it. This patch is probably from the back of the roe deer. It's got a nice mark on it. Just make sure the underfur's away, because I'm going to stack it. I'm going to put it into the stacker tips first. Just tap on your desk. Tips will line up. Now there's a broken end in there, so I'm just going to take it away. Now just to the back of the hook, or to wherever you like. You could put it where you want. That's where I'm tying it to. Catch this in, just trim it, and so you can see it. Make sure it's tied in. Make sure you wax your thread. The legs, I'm going to be using dyed black pre-knotted legs. Now, these flies, I don't like too many legs on it. I mean, I'm only going to put 2 either side of the wing. So I'm using the wing to help separate them. So that first part of the wing goes on first. The length, again, is up to yourself. They can be short as long as you like. I like to see them at the back, so 2 either side of the wing, come round with 2 or 3 turns. See they're sitting. Pull these in a wee bit, they're a wee bit long. Two or 3 turns more, just to make sure they're going to sit where you want. And trim away. Now what I'm going to add in here is I've got some red, this is Lite-Brite. I have some red seal's fur, and I just blend it together when I'm using it. Just bring it out, tiny wee drop. I'm just going to tidy this up first. There's this, when I tie the Bibio version, I use dyed black deer hair. The body is black seal's fur with a silver rib. So this is just a brown version, as I call it. It's just a natural colour. It works really well. So we're dubbing on. So it looks quite leggy, like it's fine. Just check the other side, because you do catch the legs when you're winding dubbing on. So just watch where it is, because you always can go back at this point. Right, now we're ready for the next part of the wing. Now, just the same deer hair, natural deer hair. Now I said if you're tying the Bibio, you would go black, red, black. So in this case, I'm just going to stick to the natural. And we're going to stack it, tips first into the stacker. Tap on your desk. Some broken ends in there, so the tips have lined up. First thing is just to remove these broken ends. They're easy to remove because they're thicker. Your nail can catch them. That looks fine. Get the length you want, slightly longer than the last. You can make it a wee bit longer if you want. Make sure you tie it on the top. Cut your thread into these cut ends so they don't remove. Fine. Now for this, I'm going to put some dyed black seal's fur, or you can use SLF, or whatever you have. Any good dry fly dubbing would work. Just put it on quite light, because I want it to be part of the colour right into it. Make sure it's on, and you can, if you feel it's loose, like it is loose, I like it like that, so I make sure the thread comes through it to sort of basically rib it. And then we're going to finish off with a couple of CDC feathers. Now you could finish off with some deer hair. You could carry on with the deer hair and keep it more like the hedgehog, but the CDC last. So I've got 2 feathers laying on top of one another. Tie this just in front, stroke back any fibres going forward. Come in, this time we don't trim it to just tie it in like we did with the deer hair. That's fine. Trim away the excess. Now make sure you wax your thread here. You need to make sure you get plenty of grip. Make sure you pull back any fibres that's maybe going forward. Now you'll tie off at that, but I like to put a wee bit of dubbing. A wee bit of black dubbing in front. You even could put a hackle, which I've done before, in front. So there's many ways to finish this fly and tie it. Just down. There we are, looks fine. Legs are okay. Varnish it, so I'm basically going to put some varnish on the thread and then whip finish. Just that. And there we go. And that's basically it's a quilled Bibio, if you want to call it that. And you call it what you like. It's a really good pattern, especially in the locks, and gives the impression of a few things, mainly bidge. But any terrestrial type black flies getting blown on, it will certainly represent them or give an impression of them, much like the heather fly and so on. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. And again, if you enjoy the videos, it helps if you subscribe. It does show that you're interested. And as I say, there's the olive version that's a wee bit smaller, it's the next size down. So you could do these in many colours. So again, I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.